Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka on MTV Sports. And just before the commercial break, we were taking a look at the headlines just to get you a little woken up. But I hope you're enjoying your Monday morning with MTV Sports. In the studio, we have a very special guest with us. We have Reverend Kirtisiri Fernando, who is the incumbent of Holy Emmanuel Church Moratua and also the acting principal of the deaf school, the School for the Deaf in Ratmalana. Now, you know, as much as you are a guest to this studio, you are no guest to me because he is my parish priest. Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Milan.
So, Father, just talking about yourself and how you joined the ministry. Were you always having ideas of joining the ministry?
Yes and no. I had this idea, but then after my A-levels, I didn't want to join the ministry. Then I started doing an engineering degree. This was not that in early 80s. And then I started doing a London degree, mechanical engineering degree. While I was doing that, I worked for a private company called Amico. And then I have been just thinking, what is my vocation? That's a very religious term, but anyway, what should my career like? But then I had to struggle with this idea, with my religious faith and also with my secular ideas. Then finally I came to the conclusion that I must join ministry. That should be my career. That was in 1985. Then I went and met the bishop, and then he sent me to a seminary at Pilimathalava. I had my theological formation and did my first degree in theology. And then I was sent to challenging areas. That was the height of JB troubles. I was in Badulla and in 89 as a young deacon. And then I worked in places like Gaul and Matara. And then after that I was sent to Pilimathalava again as a lecturer. Then I did my parish ministry for about 5.5 to 6 years at the beginning. And then after that I have been in the field of academics, and from that point I have been studying sociology, especially on that ethno-religious identities.
Now exactly, talking about your academic career and your studies in depth of theology and sociology, can you just explain to us, you've I think gone on to publish some of your works as well?
Yeah, and first of all, that from Calcutta I did my bachelor degree in theology and also postgraduate degree. And then I did biblical studies. And anyway, sociology is part of theology and a little bit of philosophy and all that. But then I did MPhil from Ruhuna University. Because then I was the vicar of Matara. I started doing that when I was there. Then I went to Pilimathalava as a lecturer. And then I have been interested in this whole issue of what is called secular religion, how religion affects the secular field. That is the empirical the truth. The religion functions in the society. I always say this, that the religion is in the world, not that the world is inside the religion. Because some religious people think the whole world is not that inside the church or temple or mosque. It's not true. Then I have been interesting, and then that's how I started doing sociology.
And also talking about this special concept of ethno-religious identity. Now you mentioned that a lot of people are concerned with their identity and they try to link it up with whichever religion that they belong to.
That's right, exactly. And after the Second World War, that in many countries they started the independence struggles, and it was there even before that. For their independence struggles, that especially many Asian and African countries use ethnicity and religion as tools to gain independence. Therefore, that these two identities became very important, that for many people. At the same time, that the mid 19th century, with the rise of Darwinism, there was a concept, or expectation rather, that the scientists would take the place of priests in the 21st century.
An extreme form of rationality.
Exactly, yeah. But what has happened is just the opposite. Now people are strengthening their identities, and not in the sort of that so-called very holy religious way, within inverted commas, but for their identity issues. That to become meaningful entities, people are strengthening their religious and ethnic identities.
Now also you talked about how this really is emphasized and highlighted in the process of migrating.
Exactly. I did a research in London, that on Sinhala, Buddhist and Christian, that immigrants in London, the whole issue of shifting identities from home to host country. And I got a good scholarship, and then I was there for about 4.5 years, and I did this research, ethnographic research from the University of Kent. That work is published by Godage Brothers, called Religion and Identity, comparing Sinhala, Buddhists and Christians in and around London. When I have included a chapter on that 5 Buddhist temples in London, how they function sociologically, and also 3 Christian organizations. Not from a very religious sense, but very sociological, that articulation.
Why do you think that people would really try to emphasize on their or their ethnicity or their religious background when they move from their home country to another country?
Yes, Mr. Now, in 1960s, there was a theory called melting pot theory. This was a very American thing. They thought that when various religions and cultures and ethnicities, when they come together in the same marketplace, that they will come into a melting pot. They will forget about their old identities, but that never happened. Now, what people are doing is they are strengthening their old identities to become, that effective entities, because otherwise, that when you go to another country, they don't accept you. For instance, if you go to England, at once they don't accept you as British. First of all, you have to establish your own identity. Then only that you can integrate or assimilate into that society. Now, for instance, there are some that Christians or Buddhists who are not very religious in Sri Lanka, but when they go to these countries, they become very religious. Maybe in a very secular sense, but then that is important for their identity. This is a huge subject,
And moving on to the deaf school, if we can just talk a bit about that. Can you just give us an introduction of the school for the deaf in Ratmalana?
Exactly. As you told, that at the beginning, I have been in the academic field, and I was in a seminary. There also, we started a diploma on special education needs, and then that counseling program, especially as a response to war and that tsunami. Then that I came to Morotu as the incumbent. Then Bishop wanted me to that work there as the that acting principal. That's how I started doing this. And this year we celebrated the centenary of our school. This school was started by a lady called Mary Chapman, who came from England through a mission called Zenana Mission, and this was started in 1912. This is the very first special school in Sri Lanka at Ratmalana. That when you go from Colombo to Galle, that to get into a junction called that I don't like that word, but Golumadamandiya, and that that's why you get this school. And at the beginning, it was one school for deaf and blind, but after the Second World War, that word is not separated. That now there are 2 schools
to better focus.
Exactly, better focus, and that because they have their special needs. And 1945, they started 2 schools. They separated the deaf school from the blind.
And also, what people might not really know is that there is also a branch school in Kaitadi.
Exactly, in Jaffna Kaitadi. Even that when the war was going on, that has been functioning. That's a special place, but many people don't know about that school. There you get 2 departments, deaf and blind, in the same school. But these 3 schools are under one board of trustees.
Now, talking about, is it under the Church of Ceylon? And what does it serve only Christians? Or?
No. Right from the beginning, that it has been serving that all ethnicities. Now, for instance, that 1945, the land for the school for the deaf was gifted by a Muslim person called Abdul Ghafur from the area. And even now, in my school, there are about 250 children. We don't have more than 12 Christians. From that, to be more precise, there's only one that from my own denomination. One child. We have been serving people irrespective of their faith and caste and code and ethnicity. It has been serving that people. That's all.
And also it celebrated its centenary. We had some news items about the blind cricket match.
That's right. Actually, that blind school has started blind cricket in the world.
Right.
It's a unique corner. Yeah, they have started blind cricket at Ratmalan.
Father, looking at probably the future expansion plans, do you all have a plan of expanding these services if possible
in our school,
include more people?
Yeah, actually no, that I don't think we can accommodate more than 250. I think now if you take the deaf school, this is the only place I think in Sri Lanka where you have, I mean, about 200 children are residential. I mean, it is not that easy to know that keep 200 deaf people in one place. We have a lot of other issues, no, social issues and behavioral issues and all that. No, I mean, it's a daily challenge. I mean, we can't elaborate on all those things, yeah, because now that they have a huge communication gap, no, where deaf people are concerned, because they can't express, they can't hear, then they don't get social norms, no, and they are very emotional. Therefore, know that, I mean, it's a huge challenge.
And talking about if people want to contact, the deaf school, maybe to contribute to the services, I think you can contact them on 072 90 32297. Once again, 072 90 32297. And moving on with this topic of deaf and blind school and special needs, now we find that in most instances people may not be very sensitive to their needs and understanding how to best communicate with them. Now what are your opinions on this? Should more education and awareness be spread among the usual schools in how to better communicate with these people?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, know that traditionally we have been using sign language. I mean, know that now we emphasize more on what is called lip reading. No, we have a speech therapist. No, because most of the deaf people are not dumb. They have their vocal cord. Because they can't hear, they can't talk. Right. But if they have at least little bit of hearing with the assistance of a hearing aid, you can amplify it. Now it is not that just like wearing a pair of spectacles, because know that just because you amplify it, know that they can't communicate. Then you have to train them. That's a long, tedious process. Then you have to train teachers. I mean, that's where that the sort of the difficulty comes here. That you have to train that at every level. And I mean, then you have to look into that there are that quality of hearing and things. We have audiology as well. It's a huge area. I think that like in some so-called developed countries, I mean, we have to check their hearing when they are small. I think each and every child
and address that problem
exactly. Yeah, they have to
as possible.
Exactly, the whole ENT issue. Because some people may be hearing but not properly.
So let's continue our interesting discussion with Reverend Kirtisiri Fernando, who is an academic as well as the principal of the School for the Deaf. But just about now, let's take a short commercial break.